In the spring of 1940, Europe stood on the brink of catastrophe. Nazi Germany, under Adolf Hitler, had spent years rebuilding its military might, defying the Treaty of Versailles. While Britain and France watched warily, hoping diplomacy would hold, Hitler prepared his masterstroke, the invasion of Western Europe. France, proud of its Maginot Line, a massive chain of fortifications along the German border, believed it was impregnable. Billions had been spent on concrete bunkers, underground tunnels, and heavy artillery. French generals boasted that no army could break through, but Hitler had no intention of attacking head-on. Instead, he planned something daring, Fall Gelb, or Case Yellow. German panzer divisions, fast-moving tanks supported by motorized infantry, would slice through the Ardennes forest, a region the French considered impassable for armored forces. From there, they would race to the English Channel, cutting off the best Allied armies in Belgium. On May 10, 1940, the silence shattered. At dawn, German bombers struck airfields in France, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. Paratroopers seized key bridges. The Blitzkrieg, lightning war, had begun. The Netherlands fell in just 5 days. Rotterdam was devastated by Luftwaffe bombing, forcing surrender. Belgium fought bravely, but King Leopold III capitulated on May 28th. In the north, British, French, and Belgian troops rushed forward into Belgium to meet the expected German attack, exactly as Hitler planned. Meanwhile, General Erich von Manstein's bold plan unfolded perfectly. 7 panzer divisions under generals like Heinz Guderian and Erwin Rommel poured through the Ardennes. The forest roads were narrow, traffic jammed for miles, but the French High Command dismissed reports of German tanks there as impossible. By May 13th, Guderian's tanks crossed the Meuse River at Sedan, the same place Germany had broken through in 1914. Stuka dive bombers screamed down, terrorizing French defenders. Within days, the panzers broke free into open country. French commanders were paralyzed, orders were slow, communications poor. Prime Minister Paul Reynaud called Churchill in London, pleading for more RAF fighters. Churchill sent what he could, but Britain had to preserve its air force for the coming battle over its own skies. By May 20th, German tanks reached Abbeville on the Channel coast. The trap snapped shut. Over 1 million Allied soldiers, the British Expeditionary Force, and the cream of the French army were cut off in a shrinking pocket around Dunkirk. As panic spread, the French government fled Paris. On June 10th, Italy declared war, stabbing France in the back with an attack across the Alps. Paris was declared an open city to spare it destruction. German troops marched down the Champs-Élysées on June 14th. In the north, the miracle of Dunkirk unfolded. Between May 26th and June 4th, over 338,000 British and French troops were evacuated across the Channel by an armada of Navy ships, fishing boats, yachts, anything that could float. But they left behind all their heavy equipment: tanks, artillery, trucks. South of the Somme, the remnants of the French army fought on. General Charles de Gaulle, a little-known brigadier general who had led daring tank counterattacks, begged for more time, more coordination, but morale collapsed. Refugees clogged roads, millions fleeing south on cars, carts on foot. On June 16th, Reynaud resigned. Marshal Pétain, the 84-year-old hero of Verdun in World War I, took power. He believed further resistance was hopeless. At 6:30 p.m. on June 17th, Pétain broadcast to the nation, "It is with a heavy heart that I tell you today that we must cease fighting." Many French soldiers heard this on radios and laid down arms, believing the war was over. Others fought on bitterly, feeling betrayed. On June 21st, Hitler chose a place of symbolic revenge, the same railway carriage in Compiègne Forest, where Germany had signed the armistice in 1918. There, French delegates signed the surrender. Northern and western France would be occupied. The south would be governed from Vichy by Pétain's regime, which soon collaborated with the Nazis. France had fallen in just 6 weeks. Over 90,000 French soldiers lay dead. Nearly 2 million were prisoners. The Maginot Line, that monument to defensive thinking, had been bypassed entirely. Britain now stood alone. Churchill addressed Parliament. The Battle of France is over. The Battle of Britain is about to begin. But in the darkness of defeat, sparks of hope remained. Charles de Gaulle escaped to London. On June 18th, he broadcast from the BBC, "France has lost a battle, but France has not lost the war." Exiled in Britain, de Gaulle rallied Free French forces. Resistance began quietly, small acts of defiance that would grow to a flame. The fall of France shocked the world. It proved that speed, surprise, and combined arms could shatter even the strongest defenses. It gave Hitler confidence to turn east towards the Soviet Union, and it forced America to wake up to the growing threat across the Atlantic. For the French people, occupation brought hardship, rationing, and moral choices. Some collaborated, many endured. Thousands joined the resistance, risking everything. The swift collapse of 1940 was not the end of France's story in the war, but the beginning of a long, painful road to liberation. 4 years later, Allied troops would land in Normandy, and Free French forces would march into Paris once more. But in the summer of 1940, as swastika flags flew over French cities, Europe's future hung by a thread held across the English Channel. The fight was far from over.